I'm Scott Engler. I'm a published author and thought leader on contemporary job search strategies and really optimizing LinkedIn, where 94% of the recruiters are looking for top candidates to find and attract better job opportunities and really entice the right recruiters to come to you. So today is LinkedIn Tuesday tip. And so what I want to talk about is really personalizing your personal LinkedIn profile summary to entice recruiters and attract better job opportunities to you. So I want to talk a little bit as it pertains to the old school model of what has worked in the past for job searching and what is now is a lot more effective. So not to get too into this, but resumes are becoming slowly obsolete. At the very least, they do not carry nearly the same weight that they once did. They're just kind of a tool to hand over to the employer or person in HR once you've been contacted about a role. Now, the challenge for most job seekers, and if you're listening, you've probably experienced this, is even getting responses or contacted about roles. So obviously the resume really just has much less of a purpose than it once did. But what I want to talk to you about today is the verbiage that we've used for so long and it's just not carrying the same weight. You see, one of the things is that there is less recruiters than there were before, and they have more candidates to sift through. And they're looking at 200 applications within the first 200 seconds, spending an average of 6 seconds scanning a resume. I mean, as some of you may know, that it became so overwhelming when the economy hit in the US that they started what's called applicant tracking systems, which are computerized machines that filter through resumes because human beings couldn't process through all that information. So here's the thing. What used to work isn't working the same way anymore. And I'll give you an example. When it comes to your LinkedIn personal profile summary, you want to make it personal. You want to stand out. You want to differentiate yourself. You want to establish a rapport with the reader. You want to build some type of connection so it's not just like, blank and it's just part of their job. Just picture yourself spending 8, 10, 12 hours a day looking through and hearing some of the same stuff. And I'm going to give you kind of an example of what I mean is, and this is what I see all the time, and I'm sure you could identify, is here's a summary of someone I just read yesterday. Results-driven professional with 15 years of extensive experience in customer relations, project management, commercial contract, administrating budget development, and operational performance management. So let's just, aside from the fact that how dense and dry that is and how many different roles that could be, I mean, there's so many just in that paragraph alone, there's so much to take in. So, I mean, that's going to take more than 6 seconds to process that. Now, what I want to talk to you about as far as the tip is personalizing it. And the interesting part was I was going to use this as an example of the old school model in an article, and I was, going to just basically copy and paste this public information. And I was like, well, I hope that person doesn't recognize that this is their, what they said on it. And then it really hit me, was like, there's no way that they're going to know it's them, because that's what everybody else's profile summary sounds like. That's what everybody else's objective sounds like in their resume. So the first thing to keep in mind, your profile summary on your LinkedIn is not an objective. It's not the same thing. And when human beings are reading this and you're not personalizing it, they're not going to want to connect with you. It's just boring. They're not going to feel anything. It's not interesting, and you sound just like everybody else. And that was really the more of the epiphany I had yesterday, was like, there's no way this person would know it's them, because this is so unpersonalized. It's so dry. It's so dense. This is what everybody else's sounds like. So, what I would challenge you is, today's tip is, ask yourself, why would this person, stop and consider me for a role? What makes me stand out? What makes this person think that I'd be the right person for the role? Because the truth is, everybody has 20 years experience somewhere that's, going for the same types of positions. And it sounds very similar. They have an expertise in this. It's like, how do I know they have an expertise in this? What have they done specifically? There's no connection that's being built. So everybody's summary sounds exactly the same way. And if you don't believe me, start reading other job seeker. If you're on Job Seeker Premium, or if you know other people looking for work on LinkedIn, look at their profile summary. And I can almost promise you that for every 9 out of 10 you look at, it's going to sound something like this, either in their summary or in their description of their roles at their jobs. So that's really my tip today is how could you personalize it more? The first one would be using I statements, using what you've done and how it's unique to you, and really why you started doing that. Because if I was like, well, ever since I was little, I loved presenting in front of an audience. I used to perform for my family and friends on New Year's Eve, and then I started in school, and now I present in front of thousands of people. Like, that's interesting, and it's showing that something that I'm different. It shows that I had a natural talent and affinity for this. And then I could go into, like, I now speak at, for Fortune 500 companies and in 35 countries, or whatever you want to say, and really get into that. So that would be my recommendation today on how to more personalize your experience and stand out on LinkedIn to attract better opportunities. Thanks so much.